Hello everyone and welcome back to Turkish Star Files, the corner of YouTube where we unpack the moments that make our hearts race and our timelines explode. Settle in, because today we're revisiting that instant that turned a storyline into a storm, the split second when a glance became a confession and a scene became a sensation. Yes, we're diving deep into the kiss that rewrote the rules. The fiery, breath-stealing moment between Serkan Bolat and Ida Yld that so many of you still talk about, analyze, and replay late at night. And tied to that unforgettable scene are the names that sent the fandom into full-on frenzy, Ozan Baba and Sinem. If you love a good slow burn, a simmering build, and a kiss that detonates everything that came before, you're in the right place. Before we plunge into the ocean of feelings, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Star Files so you never miss the drama, the theories, and the behind-the-scenes tea we know you live for. From the first table read on the set of Kalkap, also promoted in some markets as Te Lamo Corazon and even under the wildly memed title Lo Fissing Dear, there was a spark around Ozan Baba and Sinem that no one could ignore. You could see it in the way rehearsals drifted into organic banter, in the background laughter when the cameras stopped rolling, and in the way silence seemed to say more than dialogue whenever they shared a frame. The story they were tasked to bring to life was a classic with a twist, Serkan Bolat and Ida Yld, two proud souls locked into an arrangement that demanded they pretend to be a couple, even while every heartbeat tried to make it real. The very essence of the plot hinged on the thunderous quiet between two people who were supposed to be fake, and who, slowly, dangerously, seemed to forget where the act ended. With each episode, that electric cord drawn tight between Serkan and Ida thrummed louder. A stray touch in a crowded room. A bickering match that spiraled into rueful smiles. A second too long in a doorway, when neither wanted to be the one to step away first. Ozan and Sinem shaped those beats with a patience that felt like fate being written in tiny strokes, each gesture a brush of paint that deepened the colors. Fans started whispering in comments and shouting in threads, "This isn't just chemistry, this is chemistry you can hear with your eyes." And yet, as all great romances do, the story demanded a moment when the waves finally broke. Then it happened, the kiss. Not a polite meeting of lips or a softly sketched promise, but a surge of everything Serkan and Ida had tried to bury. It was the crack of thunder after a long, airless summer. Pent-up longing, exasperation, surrender, and the kind of relief that knits pain and joy together in one unstoppable rush. The camera caught the tremor in a breath, the helpless tilt toward the inevitable, the way hands learn the truth faster than words ever could. It was not gentle. It was not careful. It was honest. And in that honesty, it shattered the invisible glass that had kept Serkan and Ida at a careful distance. Yes, from this point on, the story people had read on their faces could no longer be denied. Everything shifted after that. The rhythm of their scenes changed, like a song modulating into a richer key. Doubts didn't vanish, but they no longer hid in the corners. Instead, they stepped out into the light, confronted by declarations that began to sneak into conversation. The arguments softened into admissions. The long stares became invitations. Every new episode felt like a reward for patience, a promise kept to viewers who had invested their own hopes in the push and pull of two people who pretended to be together until the pretending felt like telling the truth. For the fandom, it was vindication, the moment we could point to and say, "See? We weren't imagining it. We saw the sparks. We felt the storm coming. We knew it." But the screen cannot contain a moment like that forever, and it refused to stay put. As soon as the credits rolled, the kiss escaped into the world. Social media was a living, roaring thing that night. Clips looped endlessly, edits bloomed with music and captions, timelines became a river of wide-eyed disbelief and gleeful certainty. Hashtags linked Ozan and Sinem and that kiss into a single legend, and the global echo was unmistakable. People who had never watched an episode stumbled in from their recommendations and found themselves swept up too. Fan forums became lit rooms where strangers turned into friends, dissecting every flicker of expression and every fraction of a second with forensic devotion. If you were online, you were part of it, and if you weren't, someone sent you a link. Of course, with a moment like that, the line between character and actor blurred like ink in water. Everyone knows performers can conjure a universe, it's their craft. But in the case of Ozan Baba and Sinem, whispers grew into conversations and conversations grew into headlines. Was the kiss simply two brilliant actors working at the very edge of their talent? Or was it the echo of something that had already started beating in real life, quiet and insistent, beneath the dialogue? Interviews didn't help, because the best answers never do. A little laugh here, a teasing glance there, the shared language that co-stars develop when they've spent long days building a world together. Behind-the-scenes photos hinted at comfort and complicity, bloopers revealed a warmth that audiences couldn't stop rewatching. The speculation didn't just continue, it matured, taking on the shape of possibility. If the kiss was a spark, the ratings were the bonfire. Senkakum surged, riding a wave that looked less like luck and more like destiny. International distributors took note, and suddenly the show was something families argued about over dinner and friend groups texted about in the middle of the night. Serkin's guarded edges softened in ways that felt earned, Ida's resolve deepened even as she learned to let herself be seen. The writing dared to be bolder, trusting Ozan and Sinem to carry the heavier notes, and they did, folding tenderness and ferocity into performances that felt simultaneously intimate and epic. People cancelled plans to watch live. People made plans to watch together. It was an event. It was a ritual. It was the kiss echoing across a season, shaping everything that followed. And yet, what really fueled the myth wasn't just the plot. It was the sense that Ozan and Sinem were walking that fine line in public, side by side, with the world leaning in. Red carpet photos became study sessions for body language enthusiasts. A shared joke during a livestream launched 1,000 reaction videos. The smallest Instagram comment drew conclusions, counters, and conspiracies. Through it all, they were elegant, supportive of each other's work, generous in their praise, and disciplined about the space that belongs to art and the space that belongs to life. Whether the romance existed beyond the frame or only within it, the energy they brought together made millions of people believe in the possibility. Let's be honest. That is the magic of television at its best. A scene is words, marks on paper. A kiss is choreography, a choice about camera angle, breath, timing. But when artists choose with courage, something happens that can't be explained with craft notes. For a few minutes, two souls meet in a way that feels bigger than a script, and the audience recognizes a truth they've felt but never spoken. That's what Ozan Baba and Sinem gave Serkan Bolat and Ida Yld in that pivotal moment. A reality that only fiction can capture. Whether it proved anything about life off camera is irrelevant to the power it wielded on screen. It showed us two people discovering that love doesn't make you weaker, it makes you honest. So how did the landscape look after the tidal wave passed? Different, unquestionably. Calcap, under its many names including Te Lamokor Zone and the notorious low-fissing deer tag the internet can't stop chuckling over, took on new resonance. Serkin's journey shifted from denial to devotion. Ida held her ground while letting someone in, illuminating that private battlefield where independence meets intimacy. Fans who had been casually watching became invested, fans who were invested became evangelists. The kiss didn't just lift a subplot, it unlocked the heart of the story. Viewers from cities and villages, from dorm rooms and office break rooms, tuned in for the aftermath because the moment had promised them this. From now on, everything matters more. And the legacy? It didn't dissolve when the season wrapped. Far from it. Even after the final curtain, people kept returning to that kiss in GIFs and fan art and lovingly edited compilations. They campaigned for Ozan and Sinem to reunite, to chase lightning one more time in another project, to give Serkan and Ida Yld new names and new lives and let them fall all over again. New viewers arrived late and discovered the kiss as if it were happening now, and they felt the same tension, the same release, the same relief. If a single scene can be a time capsule, then this one is exactly that, a vial of feeling opened again and again, still potent. What can we take from all this besides a replay list as long as a weekend? That art is an invitation to feel together. That a well-timed kiss can become a shared heartbeat for people who may never meet but who recognize themselves in a story. That when the work is truthful, it travels across borders without asking for permission. The devotion we witnessed wasn't just about celebrities, it was about how the right exchange between two performers can make the world feel warmer for a while. Ozan and Sinem brought courage to a set, and from that courage came a moment that made us whisper, cheer, argue, and dream. To wrap it up, Ozan Baba and Sinem Unsal delivered a passionate, game-changing kiss for their characters, Serkan and Ida, one that turned the tide of the narrative, sent Sen Kakam's popularity to the stratosphere, and lit the fuse on 1,000 questions about what might be real beyond the frame. It stood as a testament to undeniable chemistry, a milestone that nudged careers forward, and a memory etched into the collective mind of fans from Istanbul to Santiago to Singapore. Most of all, it reminded us of why we watch, to believe, for a little while, that the impossible isn't so far away. And that's our journey through the scene that still has a pulse years later, the kiss that grew larger than the episode that carried it. Thank you for spending this time with us here on Turkish Star Files. Now it's your turn, talk to me in the comments. Where were you when you first saw that kiss? Did you feel the earth tilt the way I did? And tell me, do you think Ozan and Sinem shared more than a script in that chapter of their lives, or was it simply the finest kind of acting, the kind that leaves us guessing forever? I want all your thoughts, all your theories, all your favorite frames. If you enjoyed reliving the magic tonight, hit like, send this video to the friend who still watches that scene with the volume up and the lights down, and subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive. We have more legends to revisit, more myths to test, and more moments that refuse to stay on the screen. Until then, keep your hearts open and your replays ready, because when a kiss like that happens, it doesn't just end, it echoes.